here. So this will be your third quarter goal. What is that push? All right, cool. So I see lots of 2 stars. So I'm going to talk first kind of about building past diamond just to stabilize, but then also building 2-star diamond, which obviously my coaches and I have been talking about this topic a lot. And I feel like I've learned so much just in the last 4 months. So I'm going to provide as much insight as possible into that. But first off, we just need to talk about stabilizing diamond, because I know there are some new diamonds on here. You know, what happens when you reach diamond? What next? Where do you go from there? So if you are a new diamond, or even if you are a veteran diamond and you've been sitting at diamond for a while, your first step is to set new goals, right? And set a goal with a date. I know last year, speaking from my own personal experience, last year I didn't have a lot of rank goals, business goals. My goal was to simply balance and not stress about rank or anything like that. And even though I showed up and I worked every single day, I have a strong work ethic, so I just can't not show up. My focus wasn't on a specific goal. And that really kind of, honestly, it just didn't bring a lot of life to me in general. Like, there was nothing exciting, fun about it. It just felt like I was showing up. It wasn't fun, to be honest. And so this year I came back in and set huge goals. So no matter if you are a brand new diamond, or you've been sitting at diamond for a while, or you've been sitting at 1-star, 2-star diamond, I think it's so important that you set that goal and then set a goal date for it. So you guys know, once you begin star diamond qualifying, it takes 6 weeks. So if we're talking third quarter goals, because right now the second quarter is finishing up. I guess we have until this Thursday for second quarter. But looking into the future, knowing your third quarter goals and what are you pushing for within the third quarter, and then knowing the qualifying date for that. So counting 6 weeks back from the very end of the quarter. I'm not 100% positive what that is without looking at my calendar. But a lot of the times I'll ask coaches, what are your goals for the quarter? And they won't recognize the fact that the quarter is actually 6 weeks before, because you have to start qualifying in that quarter. So I look at my goals quarterly now. I count back from the very end of the quarter, 6 weeks, because that's when everything needs to be set in place. So that really only gives you 6 weeks from Thursday to begin qualifying for third quarter. So you guys have 6 weeks, if we start now, to advance rank for third quarter, basically. 6 weeks from Thursday, that's when your qualification starts, so you advance before the end of the third quarter. So that's the first thing you kind of have to think about, is what is your goal for the next 6 weeks, and then we're going to kind of go backwards in terms of how to reach that. But first off, I want you guys to evaluate your social media, and I'm jumping kind of a little bit, but it'll all tie together. I want you to evaluate your social media. If you go and look at your page, I want you to literally count in the past 7 days how often you speak about coaching on your page. Can everyone make sure to mute themselves? But go and count in the last 7 days, how often did you speak about coaching as either a lifestyle post? So yesterday I talked about my mom, and I talked about taking her to Cancun and how that was because of Beachbody. So it wasn't like a huge, like, coaching did this. It was kind of subtle, but it was tied in. Coaching allowed me to take my mom to Mexico. Go and count how many times you've talked about coaching within the last 7 days, what it has done for your life. So I'm going to leave physically out. All right. I'm going to get really strict with you guys. So I'm going to leave physically out, because I think far too often we assume if we're posting our transformation and posting our body results, people connect it to this business opportunity. And that's not true. And I can tell you that's not true, because when I found Jessica, I was looking on Instagram. I found a girl who had the body I wanted. I was all over her blog, and she talked about coaching. She tied in this business side. I literally never saw it, because all I saw was the fitness stuff she posted. People are only going to see what they're looking for unless you literally punch them in the face with something they didn't know they needed. So like when Jessica punched me in the face with a YouTube video about making 13K a week, I was like, whoa, okay, sign me up. So I'm actually taking the fitness out of the business for this lifestyle. Okay. I want you to think about when you look at your post, how often are you posting about the results of your business in terms of maybe your relationships, your self-confidence, your friends and family, like the network, the community that you have now, income, what it's afforded you. So I say income a lot. I'm a huge believer in income because that's why I'm here. I am here because I saw Jessica's income post. But also I'm a huge believer in speaking about some type of tangible result of the business. So just like results in your fitness, before and after photos, we know that sells challenge packs. In that same regard, I know that people need to see business results that are tangible in order to want to dive into this business. That's my belief, and that's what I always operate on. So going on the Success Club trip, that's a tangible thing someone can earn. They can see that, they can feel it, they can know it's there. I talk about paychecks. I know that's not everyone's thing, but other ways to talk about that are like, what has your Beachbody paycheck afforded you? Is it, paying for your tank of gas, paying for your groceries, paying for your son's birthday party? There are a lot of ways to talk about it. Although it might not be saying like, look how much money I earned this week, but you're saying what it's afforded you without stress, without dipping into your credit cards, whatever it might be. So I encourage that because I would never be here without it. So I want you to look, have you been posting at least 5 times a week a lifestyle coach post? Have you been talking about the business side of this and what it's given you 5 times a week? And so I do mean like all the categories, emotional, physical, the community aspect, just self-esteem, those types of things. But additionally, what it's afforded you, tangible things that it's afforded you or given you in your life. I think those are super important. A lot of the times people say, no one wants to sign up to be a coach with me. No one wants to be a business coach. And I will go look at their social media profile and they don't talk about it. And I'm like, well, there you go. If you're not talking about it on social media, it's also probably a big red flag. You're not inviting to it on social media. So literally the first thing when coaches, my downline coaches come to me and say, no one wants to join my business, the very first thing I do is I go look at their social media to see how many lifestyle posts they're making. And if they've made a coach call to action, to the coach open houses, to the sneak peeks, to coach anything in general. Additionally, in terms of, I'm just going to throw in a quick tip right here. I'm trying to keep this short. Coach calls to action. You'll see me regularly post that I have a new coach mentorship for my team. Someone asked me about this the other day, but I use this in 2 ways. I host my Getting Started Right calls every single Tuesday night. So pretty much every single Tuesday night, I have a new coach mentorship call because it's my new coach Getting Started Right call. So I can create that urgency every single week saying, okay, let's get you enrolled today because tomorrow is my new coach mentorship call. And I create that urgency using that. Hey, and guess what? If you don't have a scheduled GSR time, that's awesome. You could literally make it up every single day and decide tomorrow you're doing one at 7 p.m. and tell your potentials today, tomorrow is my Getting Started Right call for new coaches at 7 p.m. Can you make it? Let's get you going. What do I go over on my Getting Started Right call? I go over, the basics, and I can drop this in Dare to Dream or the Diamonds group too, but it's honestly pretty basic, and I feel like I've changed it multiple times. Their why, connecting their why to business goals, Success Club, Emerald, Diamond. I usually don't go into Diamond, the first call though. I go over how they are their own boss and I am not their boss, and how they're not going to disappoint me, that it's their business. What they do is theirs to own, and they're never going to disappoint me or like if they don't reach some goal, because it's their business. I'm here to support them and meet them where they're at. Then I show them the different groups that they're in, kind of brief them on the training. And then I go over the daily behaviors in terms of, the daily power hour. Here's how you do it. You work out, you drink your Shakeology, you go make posts according to that. It's 45 minutes. So I'm like rushing through that call because it's right before my team calls. So that's what I go over. It's honestly, it's pretty standard. It's nothing special. So the first thing, evaluate your social media. Are you actually doing those things? 2, are you actually inviting business builders? I think far too often, and this is going to trickle down into your downline because I've seen it happen with coaches. People get in the habit of getting discount coaches. And somewhere they get this idea that if they have discount coaches, they have a business. And I'm going to be totally frank, that's actually so far from true. If you have a business built on discount coaches, you literally are just being really nice to people and giving them a discount. But it's not going to build your business substantially to a 6-figure to a 7-figure business. It's just not. And additionally, what I see people do is they bank on these discount coaches to be like Jessica Bowser Nelson and someday just wake up and build $1 million business. And they're just waiting because they see potential in this person. So they're like, well, Sally did come in for the discount, but I know someday she's going to be a business builder. And they just like bank literally on Sally, like forever. Sally is a discount coach until she decides to change her mind. And until she changes her mind, you need to go find a bunch of other coaches who are serious about the business. So when I got serious about the business and when I said I wanted to quit my job, it was December. I made it a non-negotiable, the 100 presentations called the bubble sheet, to fill that up every month. And I made a non-negotiable, non-emotional, no fear decision that I was inviting every single person that I brought into my challenge groups to business coaching, not wimping out and going the Shakeology route. But I was going to go first on the business, second on the discount. And that's how I approached it, and it changed everything about my business. Additionally, anytime I enrolled a discount coach, even to this day, to me, they honestly don't count in terms of business building. So if you are a diamond and let's say you want to get to, or if you're a shaky diamond and you enroll a new coach for the discount, like that's not stability. I want you guys to think of it a little bit differently and really start focusing on business building coaches who want to do the same things as you. Evaluate your business. How many coaches, if you look at your leader ladder, last month had 1 Success Club point or more? That's how many business coaches you have. Hobby, I'm going to call those people with 1 point or more. That's how many hobby coaches you have. How many coaches of yours made Success Club? That's how many business coaches you have currently. Okay. So that's how I look at it in my life. If they had 1 point, they didn't make Success Club, they're a hobby coach. If they made Success Club, they're a business coach in my mind. They're really working for this. And that's how I decide if people are business or hobby or no coaches, because I have nothing. But a lot of the times I think, especially when I was new, I would just have a lot of hope for people. And I would just be like, oh, they're going to do it because like I see all their potential and they're going to do this because they're so great. And I had to really let go of that. And it was in some ways hard, but it was also in other ways just a relief. Instead of like hanging my hopes and dreams on someone who was never going to show up, I just let it go. And I don't mean I let them go and I just was like, whatever, I don't like them. It wasn't like that at all. It was just like, it's not their time to work the business and that's okay. But I'm not going to rely on them in terms of, ever showing up. Because they don't want to, and that's okay. So I'm going to go find people who do want to show up with me, who want to work this business with me, but it's not those people. And I think sometimes we can get just really hopeful for people. And instead of going and finding more people, we just wait for people who aren't doing anything. You have to stop waiting. You have to go find people who are ready to run with you now. And then the last thing, let's talk about management mode, because we talk about it a lot, but I want to challenge you to think about what it feels like. Okay? So you don't have to raise your hands. Actually, don't raise your hand. But how many of you are like super frustrated because so-and-so won't get to Emerald, or super frustrated because so-and-so won't get to Diamond, or super frustrated because so-and-so won't get to Success Club? If so, you're in management mode. Because if you are in building mode, you're not focusing on those people who aren't working. You are literally only focusing on your business builders because the rest of your time is spent finding other coaches who want to run with you. And I know I used to, my first year as a coach was the hardest because it was hard. Always just, trying to reach those goals with people who weren't really ready. And I had to realize that this business wasn't about me, or my goals or pushing or dragging someone to Diamond or to Success Club. And I had to let that go and realize I was never going to motivate somebody to do something, truly, that I can't do that for them. They have to decide to do it for themselves. And when I let go of that and stopped focusing on the people who weren't and instead focused on the people who were, number one, I found a lot of joy in it. Number two, I had more time to spend finding more coaches who wanted to also run with me and my runners. So I think we talk about management mode, but we never, when we talk about like building trainings and things like this, but it feels stressful. Management mode feels like you are watching so-and-so, waiting for them to do something. And if you're watching a coach, hoping and wishing and waiting for them to do something, you have to stop and you just have to move on. You've got to be there and cheer them on. I'm not saying to just like cross them off your list and block them on Facebook. Cheer them on, meet them at their goal, help them in their fitness journey, whatever it is they're working for, but clearly they're not working for the business at this point if they're not following the trainings and applying it. And so you just have to say, awesome, I'll be here to help you in your fitness journey, whatever it is. But otherwise, go and find those business builders. So let me see, make sure what questions we had. Okay, I'm going to answer that question, Morgan, about getting to Diamond. Okay, yep. So as you sign up coaches, how do you get them started? What first steps do you take? All right. So when I have new coaches enroll, I send them my new coach welcome email, which isn't anything elaborate or fancy. It just points them and tells them, about our team. I have a little pump me up video that's literally 2 years old. I should probably change that. Yeek. Tells them about our team mission, and then it points them in the direction of the different groups I'm adding them to, my team page and our Coach Basics page. And I'm going to talk about Coach Basics and recreating training and how you should never do that in just a minute. But so then our Coach Basics. And my Coach Basics is very similar to Dare to Dream. It's literally almost the exact same. I just have it in a separate group in terms of like, I have one, it's called Juvo Coach Basics, and it's just the training is in there instead of in my team page. And then I do a GSR call every Tuesday at 8:15 Eastern time, and it's a group GSR call. And so sometimes I have one coach on there, sometimes I have 5, sometimes I have 0. And I just go over exactly what I talked about earlier. It's honestly nothing fancy. Why? What are you willing to sacrifice? You're your own boss. Here's the training. Here's how you do Power Hour and fit everything into your day very quickly. I probably have it and I could share it, but you'll be so unimpressed. And that's it. And so the other thing I do, I sponsor minimum of 10 coaches every month, 10 coaches who have told me they want to work the business. So in that, I usually have 2 to 3 to 4 different message threads of new coaches. So I'll have like a May new coach thread, and I put all the new coaches in there. Well, I put 4, 5 to 7, no more than 7. And I put them in there. I say, hey guys, this is our thread, open communication, introduce yourself, get to know each other. And that's kind of a way I communicate. And then I cheer them on when someone makes a coming out post. I'm like, good job, Sally, you made a coming out post. Good job, Sally, you enrolled your first challenger. Good job, Sally. I saw you on the team call. I even talked, you came to the team call, you came to GSR. I just basically recognize them in that thread for everything. And the more you do that, the more I see that more of those new coaches will do it. Let's see. And I stress Success Club starters. That's new that I've been really focusing on this year. I stress Success Club starters on my GSR. I also have it in my PS page. I do $50 Lululemon. Whatever, it's just something. I think it's Lululemon. Success Starters gets a $50 gift card to Lululemon. I make a big deal about it. I post that in their new coach thread. Like, so-and-so, you're at month 1, 2 more months, and you earn your Lululemon and Summit and all this stuff. Woohoo. So I pump that up. Where was I going with that? Where was I going? Success Starters. Dang. Oh, and then what I do, so with my new coaches who have hit Success Starters, like I will, so this month, I'm going to take anyone who's in Success Starters 1 or 2, and I'm going to thread them up and say, all right, you guys, you've been in Success Starters the first month or the first and the second month, and now let's seal a deal. Let's get you in months 2 and 3. And that way, continuing to cheer them on, and now they're in this special thread and to pump them up like that. So how many hours do I spend on my business? I do try and block it off. I do not look at my phone and respond to things on the fly. Nope. I hate my phone controlling me. So I'm very specific in terms of when I'm returning messages or when I'm even going in groups and responding to things. I am in and out. I am not like, I don't like Facebook to this day. I don't like social media. It's just where I run my business. So I show up when I have to. If I could turn off my phone forever, I would. But that's not an option. So I'm very specific in my time. And how many hours do I work a day? Some days I work 10 to 12 hours. Some days I work 4 hours. It really depends on the day. Usually I front load my week. So my weeks are super heavy. And then my weekends are obviously, I try and do bare minimum. And I usually do bare minimum on the weekends. I always recommend you are a badass to coaches. Do you find most of your coaches from challenge groups first or sign up coaches right away? I'd say most these days I sign up as coaches right away. I will give the disclaimer. If I wasn't so passionate about the business, I still think my best coaches came as challengers first, but I'm just too dang invested in the business at this point where I can't not. Like, I'm just too excited about the business. So I've tried to backtrack, but my heart is lead with the business at this point because of everything it's done for my life. But my best coaches have come from the business, from challenge groups first. But I still get at least 5 challengers a week that are not, or a month that are not coaches. 5 challengers a month, goal of 10 a month that are not coaches, and then try and convert those. Okay. So in terms of helping my coaches reach diamond, right? Getting them into the mindset. Okay. So I will tell you the best thing I ever did for myself is I raised the bar for myself. The moment I raised the bar for myself, everything shifted on my team to where all of my leaders or anyone who is halfway interested in this business, I feel like they also raised the bar with me just naturally. Maybe my enthusiasm as a cheerleader, I don't know, you could ask my coaches, I have no idea. But that's because last year I was just kind of like, I wasn't coasting, I was working hard, but I just wasn't working hard towards goals. I was just working hard without a goal. And so this year when I set bigger goals, everyone else wanted to run with me. In terms of helping your downline get to diamond or star diamond, it is intentional. And so I will tell you, first is helping them set that goal in talking directly with your coach who wants to work. This does not work if your coaches don't want to work. You're just going to waste your time and energy. But if you have a coach who is proving to you that they want to work, that they're hitting emerald, double emerald, and they're continuing to hit Success Club, I take a special interest, obviously, in those coaches. Hey, I see that you're doing this. I know your why. You're at emerald. You've been hitting Success Club the next few months. I think that you could go diamond in the next 30 to 60 days. I give them that plug, and then I feel them out. And then I try and get on a phone call with my strong diamond potentials. And I wait. When I say strong diamond, I mean they have like 8 coaches. I don't do a lot of one-on-one calls, to be honest with you. So usually my one-on-one calls are with diamonds and above. But if I see someone potentially coming in hot and strong, I want to get them on the phone because I want them to start thinking intentionally about getting to diamond. The Jessica's Emerald to Diamond group, it does that if they actually plug into it. But if they're not plugged into it, they don't know if they're not there in the middle, whatever it is. So helping them see it intentionally, drawing out the diamond map with them, going over what diamond is, and helping them set their diamond date. But you have to connect all that back to their goals and their why, right? Otherwise, it's just some thing they're shooting for and they don't really understand it. They're just doing it because you told them to, or because everyone else is, or because you get a big shout out with your picture on it. But they need to understand, it's part of their goal, and it's probably just the first step to their goal. Their goal is probably something beyond diamond. So they need to know, well, we're going to get you to diamond and then we're going to get you to 2-star. And I don't have a problem telling people 2-star is where I feel like you can really begin to maximize this income plan. I think we say diamond way too much. To me, it's diamond. Let's solidify you. Let's get you to 2-star diamond. And setting that diamond date. And so I've been talking to a lot of my diamond coaches recently about their next steps, their next goal. So we're actually in this process. And today, so I apologize, diamonds, if you've already heard this, I've noticed as I'm talking to my diamond coaches, and I said to them the other day, who is serious about getting to diamond? And when they told me they were serious about getting to diamond, star diamond, who was serious about getting to star diamond before summit, which means you have 4 weeks to start qualifying. And so, just like the 13th of July. When I started talking to them, I realized that while they were serious, they hadn't formulated a plan. So I'm asking you guys as diamond coaches, you want to be a star diamond coach, have you formulated a plan? Look at first your coaches who are hitting Success Club. How many business coaches do you have? That tells you right there. How many of your coaches hit Success Club each month? There's your pool of business builders. Then you can start looking at, okay, how many of those coaches have been recruiting 2 to 4 coaches every month? There's your pool of diamond potentials. But what I've noticed people do is people hang their hat upon hoping or seeing potential again in their coaches. And so instead of having actual people who want to build to diamond, they just have hope that somebody is going to step up to the plate at some point to get to diamond. And it truly doesn't work like that. It comes with intentional communication with a coach about when is your diamond date? How are we going to get you there? Are you ready to go for this goal? We're going to go for it together. Does that make sense? And I think Ashley Carey said it the best on my page today too. She said, you guys had a plan to get to diamond, right? So you were looking at it in terms of, I've got an emerald over there and they're seriously working the business. I see their posts. I see that they're in the emerald trainings. I've got an emerald over here. And she said, it's no different for star diamond. You've got a diamond coach, a diamond coach potential over here. Are they in the emerald to diamond training or did they already drop out and quit? Because there's your sign. If they already dropped out and quit the emerald to diamond training within 2 weeks, you don't have a real diamond unless they are just flying. And some people do that. But I know when I started, I needed that emerald to diamond group. So look at those things. Are they participating in the emerald to diamond trainings? Are they showing up on team calls? Are they actually doing the things? Or are they just telling you they want diamond? There's a big difference between telling and showing, and you have to get really serious and not let people go, but realize that some people aren't ready for that yet. And that's okay. Maybe they want to be diamond, but they're not willing to do the work yet. That's okay. Just go find someone else who might be ready because you could be hanging around forever. I will say though, never to give up on people in terms of them sprouting to diamond at some point. I used to have like expiration dates on people and I think, oh, if they didn't hit it by this date, they're never going to make it. Such a lie. Don't ever fall into that trap because I've seen it all these days where people come out of the woodwork and build to diamond. I'm like, what? You haven't hit Success Club ever and you've hit Success Club 3 months in a row. Like mind blown. So don't ever give up on people. Because if you raise the bar and they're watching you from behind the scenes, someday they're going to come with you. Incentives. I will tell you this, and I know people will disagree with me. And if you disagree with me, wonderful. I want you to voice that in Dare to Dream Diamonds because I think it's important people see all examples. But I think my diamond retreat was a huge game changer for me. Huge. I think it was the best thing I've ever done in terms of building my business and motivating my coaches. So I held a diamond retreat in California in January. I think I had 9 coaches out there. And so I just think that created so much momentum and so much community for my coaches who went. The coaches who weren't there, they watched it. I'm hosting another one in September. And they saw that, and now they want to be on the one in September. I didn't, Kylie, that's why Kylie's diamond. Yes, I put money into it. Oh, that's another thing. Yes, I put money into it, but it was an investment in my business. I get really annoyed when people say that they're spending money on their business or they're just spending money or I don't want to spend the money. I've never spent a dime on my business. I've invested a ton of money in my business and it's paid me back tenfold. But I've never spent money. I'm a business owner. And if we had a brick and mortar business, you would be investing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in a building, in electricity, in employee costs, in advertising that wasn't just your Facebook page. And I truly believe if you want to grow a business, you have to think like a business owner and invest in your business that way. And no, I don't spend thousands and thousands of dollars every month on my business, but I do invest in it. And I have been investing in it from the very beginning. So I did invest in that diamond retreat, and it was the best thing I think I've ever done. I think some diamonds have a whole lot more extravagant retreats. I think mine was great, but it wasn't like the most extravagant, crazy, like beautiful thing ever. I'm not really good at hosting. But it was about the community, and it was amazing. The last thing I will say, I really encourage, so everything I just said, but then I want you to evaluate where you spend your time. When I was a diamond, I piggybacked on Jessica's training for over a year. I think I was a 5-star diamond coach or more by the time I started doing my own training for my own downline. And sometimes I see coaches who try and create new training or try to take on everything by themselves. And that's actually what I would not recommend until you have a team of 20 people in your downline who are literally seriously working, who are like really working. And even then piggyback. But I think sometimes coaches think, to have their own team or to grow to a certain extent, they have to like totally branch off and do their own thing. And they're going to host all these trainings by themselves, and they're going to host everything alone. And they're going to do emerald groups by themselves and emerald to diamond factories and all this stuff. But I actually discourage you to do that because people need to hear from other leaders. And if you are the only person ever talking to your coaches, that's really going to get tiresome for them, number one. But number two, there's going to be so many other people they relate to aside from you, and they need to hear those other stories. They need to hear those other stories, those other training tips, the other way people have to say things. So although maybe you can handle running all that training, why when other people have so much to offer to your coaches? So don't try and create all this training that's unnecessary. Instead, come together as a team, in Dare to Dream, wherever your home base is, and do those trainings as a team and rotate through the different training sections instead of trying to do it all alone. Because you're really robbing your coaches of that expertise, of that voice, of that story that they need to hear from someone else. There's been so many times when I've listened to another one of my coaches talk and I'm like, they nailed that. I could never, ever make it sound. One time Kylie Littman talked about getting to emerald, and it was so like mellow and chill. And then I'm like over here like, get to emerald. But like Kylie made it sound super easy and just like, yeah, I just, did this few things. I was like, oh my gosh. And that's the power of teamwork, as opposed like to you try and you'll never get far alone. And even when I did start doing my own trainings for my team, I already had a team of diamonds. So it still wasn't just me. I had a team of 5-6 diamonds who were hosting trainings with me. So it wasn't me by myself trying to take on all this training. It was still a team of people sharing in that effort. Okay, that's it. That's all I have. Any other questions? Brian asked, what's driving me after 3 years? Yeah, it was just, I set a big goal. I needed something to motivate me again. Like, yeah, because sure, I retired my husband. I do make a lot of money, but I still have debt to pay off. I still have 3 homes to build someday. Like, I have really massive dreams. Like, I want to build a dream home. I want a home in Charleston. I'm going to build my mom's home. Like, that's a whole lot of income that I need to make. But honestly, that doesn't do it for me. Those goals seem so far out of my reach at this time. And so actually I saw Super Saturday and one of the top 10 coaches was speaking, and it was really bad. And I was like, if she can be in the top 10, Lord, I should be number one. Let's do this. Literally, that's how it went down. And so that's what happened. And then Josh Coates said that we couldn't do it unless we worked with him. So I said, game on, sucker. Tell me I can't do something. Yeah, and I think that's the other thing. I will never see, how do I say this the right way? I have seen people come and go in this business. I have seen 2-star diamond of mine quit. And I think that to me was a wake-up call. Never, ever. Like, this business is about me and my work ethic. And the moment I decide to hand my paycheck to someone else by saying, oh, I have a bunch of 2-star coaches, I have given away all control and my business could fall in 2 seconds. And the reality is 2-star is usually like your spouse and one other person. So it's not even like that's stable in itself, because it's usually the same person building themselves. And so I think that's why in my mind, I'm like, I need to produce 5 millionaire coaches if I want to feel like I have a solid foundation in my business. And so after seeing one of my 2-stars quit, I was like, yikes, better continue to build forever. Yeah, diamond retreats are where it's at. Okay, I don't have anything else. If you guys don't have any other questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because I like to talk. Casey Walker said something after he won the $100,000 that stuck with me years now. And he said, I'm not looking to make $1 million with this business. I'm looking to find someone as broken as me. Bring me the broken, the desperate. And he was talking about fitness, but I thought it applied to the business just as much, right? The reason I did this business is that we were on foods. We were government assistance. We were broke, right? What I found after 3 years is that I set the goal of, I don't want to be that guy anymore. And I built a rockin' business, and we went combined 10-star. We made all this money, and we moved to Florida. We paid off all the debt. And then I went, cool. Like, I didn't want to be number one. And I'd never really set a huge why after that. And since then, right, we all took the hit last year, but other than that, like, it just has stayed the same. It just has stayed the same. And that's frustrating because I want to be a millionaire coach, but clearly I don't want it enough because I'm not doing the thing necessary to get there. But I think that a lot of my coaches do what I'm doing at my level at Emerald and at Diamond, at Comfort. How would you guide me, right? But I mean, how could I even teach that down into my organization?
Your coaches are so just going to do whatever you do. They're literally going to work with the intensity and the goal setting that you do. And so, and I remember Arnold told me that last year. He's like, well, you know, Melissa McAllister, she's went 15-star, I don't know how many businesses or whatever she does, but she's always setting a new. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, why would she push that hard? And I think for me, it's because I needed something to motivate me. Like, going for a number one is more of just a push to get me out of bed in the morning. Like, I literally don't care about rank. I'm not a Beachbody celebrity chaser. Like, it means nothing to me except that competitive push. I mean, that's what it does for me. I think you have to figure out where you can find that push and just go after it. Because I remember last year just thinking, like, how do I get motivated to, like, do this aside from just coasting? And for me, I just had to find something. And then I had to tell my team, because then it was like locked in. It was like too late. Now I have to do it. And it made me stick to it. So I don't know. You have to figure out what motivates you overall. And that's different for everybody. But your coaches will just follow your lead. Maybe you just need to go after a big, scary goal. Like, I don't know. It's a hard question. But I think the other thing is, it's like you said, is like, when my coaches tell me that they want to get to 2-star diamond or like quit their job to be a stay-at-home mom, like that's what kills me. Like I invest in that. Like I invest in their why. And that's what pushes me, is like, I know that they told me they wanted something, and I'm going to feel like a loser until all of my coaches have what they want. So that's what keeps me pushing. Cause like I want to see them succeeding at massive levels, earning 6 figures. Otherwise I'm just running at the top of a multi-level pyramid that I never want to be the top of. That's how I look at it. Yeah, I know Carrie's on her way. Okay, that's it. I hope that helps you guys. If you have any questions, just post it in the Diamonds group and I can answer it there. Have a good night. We'll talk to you guys later.